as we take it away. To the bottom right-hand side, our red Protoss player from Infinity Gaming. First game of him we're going to be seeing today, as he's the only player that has not played a series just yet. He is Goblin in the bottom right. See what he can do, as he's definitely been improving as of late and definitely starts to show us some surprises here and there. Definitely starts to show us some stuff that's been very promising, and very excited to see what he brings us as we continue to move forwards in StarCraft 2 in 2019. Top left-hand side, though, the blue Zerg player from Go Esports took down Seoul already today, 2-0, looking good in the group for the moment. Let's see if he can keep it up against Protoss and against what's about to be a cannon rush. Elazer, our blue Zerg, is going to have to get ready to defend, as you will see the first pylon coming down here already. A drone being pulled onto the map, and the other drone pulled to go and chase away this probe. So of course there's the other two pylons that fully walls this probe in and will guarantee a cannon to come down. So cannon will drop and we'll block that in with the gateway. Cancels the other pylon as well to get some money back. Now Elazer, with a drone this fast across the map here, is looking to drop down a hatchery in the natural expansion. So just getting that counter kind of proxy hatch going. We see a probe coming down here from Goblin. I mean, this is definitely going to be a hatchery, and Goblin sees it right away. We'll see what his response to this will be. A lot of the time you use this to get some roaches and ravages across the map, and that split attention from the Protoss player makes it very difficult to actually have all the units in one place and for them to be able to truly do what they want to do in terms of harassing bases and so on and so on. Pylon finishes up. Overlord just sits overhead. Cannon will be placed down. As you still see this Overlord from the laser continuing to come down at the bottom right-hand side. Cybernetics Core is dropping into position here from Goblin 2. As we do have the Queen starting to build up and straight into the Rotron from Elazer. No surprises there. As the Cybercore finishes, a lot of the time you will be seeing, of course, a Robo Facility proxied across the map with this. And with no kind of response to the hatcher on the low ground, that definitely seems to be the idea from Goblin. And you will be looking to place that in the next few moments. So, looking for that proxied robotics facility. As the Rotron going to be finishing up in a few moments. So there we go. Robotics facility gets dropped down in the natural expansion. Link speed coming up. With link speed on the way out, obviously it's just going to be something that helps out in terms of keeping a laser in a decent spot here. Cannon comes up on the high ground right away, but as soon as you start getting extra roaches out on this side, when a laser can afford that, that's going to be very concerning, because they can break down that cannon very quickly and very easily. A couple of shield batteries dropping down as well here, as we do see. Yeah, obviously Robo about to finish, and Immortal production will begin. I think Elazer's very happy with his position right now, though. I don't think he's going to be too worried or too concerned about what's going on or how any of this is going down. Hatchery coming across the map is still just making a few Zerglings for the moment. And as you see, a couple of Corrosive Bowels will drop down. And this is really nice, because it will just force these cannons to be healed up by the shield batteries. Every Corrosive Bowel, that deals damage here, that forces cannons to be healed, is less shield battery energy to heal the Immortal, which actually is kind of a big deal in the long run. So as rocks get taken down, Goblin will really get ready to start pushing up here. More roaches on the way. All these roaches being made on the main base hatchery. Nothing really being made over here apart from speedlings. Maybe they're going to try and run in while the rest of the units are pushing forwards. As Elazer really is just going to come in. Oh, the Warp Prism isn't actually here yet, so he's going to come straight down. Those Lings helping to get rid of that pylon, which is Corrosive Bowel and prioritized. There's a good opportunity for a moment or so, as we see actually another pylon being Corrosive Bowel down, and that's going to be a couple of shield batteries empowered at the moment. Well, these Roaches and Ravagers still having a pretty good time. Corrosive Bowels on the back will get rid of another pylon, so everything is unpowered, and, well, Elazer still has these Ravagers up. There comes a couple of shield batteries powered by for a moment, because of the Warp Prisms getting into kind of warping mode, gives it some shield battery energy. Ah, man, those Ravagers, though, are just doing a good enough job to make this work at the moment. Tries to power up a couple of shield batteries again, but if he does go do that, the Corrosive Bowels come down, and the Immortal, or the Prism, sorry, will get taken down if it doesn't move. And this has been a very effective setup from Elazer. The breakout was brilliant and so well timed. The Prism wasn't there right away, and he just got rid of enough of the pylons to really stop making the Immortals that effective and that healable. Wow, what a setup. And again, this is only really possible because he's making speed lanes off of this hatchery over here. So by making speed lanes off of the hatchery across the map, they're able to be extra production that you don't usually have in this scenario. And they come across the map and really do a huge job helping out. And that's actually maybe what made the difference here, having that extra base of production to just get some speed lanes out, because it really does make a huge difference. And obviously, you know, you build it across the map, you stop anything expansion. Maybe the Protoss was expecting aggression, so Goblin wastes some money over here as well. Throws down 4 gates back at home now. He does have Warp Gate, but Elazer will be looking very good from this. He's been making some Roaches and Ravagers on his opponent's side of the map here, and he's even making some drones as well, as Elazer will look to start mining his opponent's natural. Couple Corrosive Vials to start draining again that shield battery energy. Overload for the high ground vision means that Elazer can drop those biles from a pretty safe distance. Sentries there also seen, so they have to be very careful. Obviously just going to try and look to hold on here as best he can. That first pylon is in some trouble as well. The Ravagers even find a position where they can actually unpower it, so the cannon goes down. I mean, the force field is very good, but nothing can really fight these Ravagers, because believe it or not, they're kind of in range of any of all of these units, more or less. Units jump into the Prism to help out, but then the Lings stream in, and there just is not really an answer to a lot of Zerglings helping a fight at the moment. So that's going to be very problematic as the Lings get 5 workers already. Now they'll go and surround a couple Stalkers too. That's where, of course, we'll be seeing that Warp Prism come back into play a little bit as well. And Mortal comes and gets picked up as well. Also, Elazer, he's done a lot of economic damage with the fact that he's also setting up into a good work account for himself. He drops a Spire, which I think is an interesting choice, so there is a lot of Stalkers and Sentries on the map, and he doesn't have that much gas. So I'm not convinced by the Spire, but I mean, at the end of the day, he kind of feels like he's in control of this nonetheless. We see some more Corrosive Vials dropping, and, well, these last few Ravagers are continuing to be picked away at. Extra drones going to be picked away at here. 5 of them going down. I mean, okay, that's the deficit of Elazer having made some across the map, but then again, he is saturated in the main, so where else is he meant to make those drones? For the moment, Goblin has a higher army supply, and so Elazer has to be cautious. I guess that's where the Spire comes into play. The idea of getting these mutas up, they'll be able to at least chase down the Prism and stop harassment from happening, which is definitely maybe the biggest issue of all at the moment. So a good little kind of foresight from Goblin to set up against that, as you see Lings and Ravagers start to gather up to the top side. Here comes this Prism. This Goblin is still just trying to do what he can, but that Immortal is getting dangerously low. Elazer trying to guess the pattern of that Prism to Corrosive Vial it down, and just makes Goblin pay so much attention to it. As here come the rest of the units now. Well, this is where the Mutalisks are going to become very interesting, right? If he does make them. Spire is up, and he starts up free. He has the gas for 4 more. I mean, the Mutas become interesting because they're not exactly brilliant against the Stalker count here. So in terms of actually fighting this army, they are definitely not the best. Spinecrawlers on the high ground will start to come in. Ling counterattack will go for the probes. At least stop them from mining is obviously a pretty big deal. And the probes are just going to pull out. And they're going to start going back towards at least gas, it seems. Well, the natural expansion being given up here by Elazer again, just trying to build up the Mutalisks. He has 3 of them on the map, and they were across, so they're actually going to turn back around. These spines on their own are not really going to do enough, and the Mutas are having a little bit of trouble. I just can't quite get behind the Mutalisk decision. Maybe he didn't expect the kind of the full-on counterattack. I mean, these Lings are still denying pretty much all of the mining from Goblin, but Elazer just has no secure way of really dealing with this army. The Mutas are not going to really be backed up by anything. There's a cancel on one of the Mutalisks right there as well. Elazer's just got half the army supply. What's he going to do? Like a full-on base trade? I mean, it's definitely possible for him to break this cannon. This Nexus really needs to be killed, because otherwise Goblin can still recall back home. 3 drones left alive. Okay, there's the recall. What's the recall? And just a few Stalkers. I actually don't know if those Stalkers are enough. I mean, this is it for Elazer. He just has to commit. The Lings do a very good job of helping out, though. That's actually a huge deal, getting rid of these Stalkers. This means that this Nexus now will go down. So we go into full base trade mode. Is there any drones on the map? There's one drone over here that can build an extractor. Nexus goes down. It is, I mean, I think you have to dive the cannon sooner rather than later, right? Dives in for the sentry at least. Backs away. I mean, the sooner you get the cannon, the shield battery's out of energy, right? So it's not going to get healed up at all. Pulling those Mutalisks back, obviously, is pretty much essential. Goblin does have some money, so these Mutas will have to get rid of the probes, as this base trade is in full swing right here. The cannon goes down. The probes and zealots are being chased away. Elazer still has structures in the back. This Goblin is he going to come back across? I mean, now it's only 3 Stalkers with 4 more in the Prism, so 7. He needs to try and save these probes, but the last few probes are going to go down. Probes go down. Goblin supply blocked. He cannot build anything else, so it's only the structures in the main base. As we see the Mutas are on their way back over here. Oh my god, what's going to happen? Because in a very weird way, Goblin can't then... Okay, Goblin's going to turn around, but again, there's drones on the map. This singular drone is the only drone left, as Lings are moving out themselves because they know they're not going to get out here if the Protoss army shows back up. And the Elazer has got Goblin down to 5 gateways, a shield battery, a forge, and an assimilator. And that is it. Mutas, again, will just try and micro around and use their regeneration to slowly pick away at these buildings safely. A lot of these structures are actually in very awkward spots where the Mutalists can't even do much very easily. The Warp Prism goes into warping mode for the shield battery. May as well get as much out of it as you can, right? So, I mean, it doesn't really matter what he does here. I mean, the powering of the shield battery can heal up his gateway a little bit, but it's not like he can actually warp anything in because the Goblin is completely supply blocked. He's on 0 supply as well, right? Like out of 0, which means that even if he loses all of his units, he can't warp in a couple extra. And again, this micro on the Mutas is pretty good, but it is still dangerous as well. Prism micro to try and help out, and it's just a full-on micro war to try and make this work for both players. The Mutas will back away for a moment, go from a different angle. That gateway around the back is something Elazer will also have to pick off at some stage here, so may as well just go for it. And again, the sooner you pick this off, it's just one less thing to worry about doing at a later stage. One less building for Goblin to just put his units over. Well then. I mean, there's no mining at all from Elazer. The creep spread coming, I kind of love it. Elazer's like got nothing to do, so he's just like, I know, I'll spread this bit of creep. Shield battery, of course, that's why it's useful to have that shield battery power. It just saved a Stalker there, more or less. Mutas, though, still dealing damage here slowly to this gateway. Again, though, this is the easiest gateway to deal damage to, right? Because as long as these, as long as these Mutas are on the edge, not all of the Stalkers can really hit at once. When you go a bit further in, the Stalkers get a much better position. They can set up over here. Goblin asks for a draw. And honestly, we might get it. Elazer wants to try and micro it out. The thing is, Goblin wins the game if Elazer makes a mistake and loses Mutalisks. So in a way, Goblin should be waiting for Elazer to ask for the draw. I feel like, I mean, Protoss is definitely in the winning position here, right? Because Elazer's the one that's kind of pressured into doing something. I mean, obviously, if Elazer just doesn't... that's the thing, because Elazer's trying to win. So as long as Elazer tries to win... Goblin has a good chance, because Goblin can't. Okay, Elazer just says draw. GG's. Alright! It's a tie! And... well... Let's get into this as we kick off into Parasite. For game 1.5, to the top left-hand side once again, our red Zerg player here is Elazer. And in the bottom right-hand side, the blue Protoss from Infinity Gaming is Goblin. Pylon drops down as we get this going once again. A very early probe could already mean we're seeing the start of a cannon rush. Zerg didn't have creep. He had a creep tumor. He actually had a creep tumor, so he would have been okay. And he would have also had an extractor he could have built, and then it becomes like a bit of a base. Then it becomes, again, like, I feel like there was ways for players to win, but I also feel like there was ways for the players just to kind of sit back and just say, you know what, let's not do this as this time. Elazer is very active with this drone, and this is the issue of trying to do the same thing again on the rematch. Elazer's drone is already over here, and so this probe is unable to get the wall off that he wants, and oh, the probe takes a lot of damage, cancels the pylons, and it looks like Goblin might just go for the expansion instead back at home, because he does not have a way to get these cannons down. So boom. Just going to see those drones going towards the upper side. So, cannon comes down in a bit of a far off position, so the Panda Goblin will not expand. He'll just go in a bit of a different position. A bit of an interesting situation here, as Goblin is going to be really set up into a bit of a different set. Wow, I mean, okay. I mean, Elazer sees this with the Overlord. I mean, this is a very far off rush, though, so it's going to take a long time to push forwards. And obviously, Elazer, as the cleaning bot gets taken down, obviously, Elazer will have a natural hatchery up as well. Starts up the road drone right away. And obviously, all of this here is delayed by Goblin. And he built a gateway at home to try and keep the Cybernetics core on time. It still will have a bit of an impact, though, over the course of this. Cannon finishing up towards the front, and the probe also wanting to try and poke a bit further forward. It's going to throw down another cannon. A few Zerglings moving out over to the left side of this as well, so Lizzling is going to come down the left-hand side of the map. A couple of Queens about to finish up, and Rotron also going to be finishing very shortly. Brock's facility. This is that key structure here from Goblin. That's how he's really going to try and win this game, as Elazer will just sort of sit out the front. Feelings coming across the map. There's nothing in position right away to deal with this, so these Lings will be able to pick their way through the Forge. Now, Forge is only 800 health, a little bit less than a gateway, so getting a cannon up here might not actually happen in time. And you're going to see a recall on the Stalker to push these Lings backwards, so Goblin going to have to get something here. And that's one less Stalker on this side of the map, though, so those Lings have already done a good little job, because now they can come back home anyways. This is the extent of the creep of the unit, the structures going forwards, though, by the way. I'm not sure what this... Oh, I guess this Ravager can just sneak around over here. I was like, where's it going? Well, I guess he's going right into position to be able to pick away at this pylon that's actually powering these two cannons. Oh man, I'm going to actually have to shield battery this up. Other units coming over. If that pylon goes down, these cannons are unpowered. And that is a huge deal. Here we go. He's going to dive on for that pylon. I mean, there's another pylon to the top side, but even just a little while here without power could have a huge effect. There's another cannon going to get taken down. I mean, Elazer's just already on top of so much of this here, as Goblin is going to be struggling along. And Immortal and the Stalker will come forward to try and push those units a little bit further back. And the Elazer are going to be sitting over in the natural. Stalker and the Immortal put themselves between the shield batteries. Corrosive bars dropping down, as we are going to be seeing the Queens are picking their way through a pylon. Lings are going to try and dive forwards, and they will get themselves a little bit of a surround here. That Immortal is a little bit stuck. The Warp Prism shows up, though, but it's the same situation as last time. All the pylons are picked away at, so there's only one Immortal, and this is never allowed to really get going. And the Elaser's just on top of this so quickly. And this time, Goblin's just going to GG out, because he realizes that he's not going to trade anywhere near as much as he did last time. In the 2018 has left the game. European Group B is our third series of the day. If you're tuning in, we're not even halfway through yet. We have so many matches still to come. So it's good to see you all. And let's, with that said, get into the next game of this best of 3. We have got to the bottom left-hand side the red Protoss player here from Infinity Gaming. This is Goblin. And to the top right-hand side, our blue Zerg from Go Esports is Elazer. So getting into game number 2. Setting this up and seeing just what's going to be happening in these early stages. Overlord is coming forwards here. Obviously, just sort of sticking around his base, trying to keep an eye on any sort of shenanigans that might be coming through, and there is going to be some. A cannon rush is being set up for, once again, a Forge dropping down on the front of this natural. So, Forge comes down here early as a probe from Goblin will sneak down to this low ground. We are going to be seeing the Nexus about to be popped on in here any second. So he's actually going to kind of like Forge Gateway expand, is he? No, he is going to in the end put a pylon down. Man, he's just really tricked Elazer into thinking that this potential aggression was over. And suddenly Elazer comes down and there's 2 cannons building in his natural expansion. So Elazer will probably be sat there shaking his head at the moment like, what is going on? Like, what on earth are you doing? Well, this time he's going to be a different response from Elazer. He's going to go and put some spines up The idea being if he can get rid of the high ground vision, he can then use the spines just to pick away at those cannons from the high ground. So triple spine crawler being built, one on the low ground, two on the high ground. As those cannons picking their way through this hatchery to get this going. Man, for a moment he really had me tricked that he was going to build a Nexus. And in the end he does build a Nexus as well, so it's still a very different setup. Elazer will see that. As again, as soon as this probe goes down, high ground vision goes. And as soon as high ground vision goes, these cannons are in some trouble anyways. So again, he will kill the hatchery, so that's still a big positive for him. Elazer loses a queen on the low ground too, and he's also losing this queen on the high ground. A bit of damage dealt there. As we are going to see the Broodlings getting a good surround, and now the spines. Again, they will kill all of this off. This is so expensive from Goblin. I mean, this is a lot of minerals invested into cannons. That's 600 minerals plus the 2 pylons, 800 minerals invested here in these early stages. This spine was a little late to pull back. The cannons apparently don't reach the spine, or he doesn't have the vision for that secondary spine crawler. So these cannons slowly getting taken down. The queen will push the probe away, and so high ground vision really is no more. Everything will fall. Elazer already has a hatchery up to the left-hand side, so he's not that slow in an expansion after the expansion of Goblin here. And as Elazer sets up down to the low ground, Goblin will be, well, getting ready himself as a few lings will chase that probe away. So probe gets on back down to the bottom left-hand side. A Stargate coming up here from Goblin. A couple of hatcheries building. Zerglings are starting to build up, starting to attack away on this pylon. So a little bit of damage being done. Probably going to drop down here in a few moments. Drones coming across to the third base. But they are going to keep on mining as well. Ling's going to be nibbling away at that pylon. And eventually, this turns into a bit more of a regular game. Although, with Goblin, it's never a regular game, is it? He goes into a Void Ray to set this up. So, very interestingly, going into a Void Ray, I mean, well, yeah, it's going to be chasing down this Overlord. I wonder what he does after the Void Ray. Like, does he go multiple Void Rays or just the one? Because, I mean, a single Void Ray isn't unheard of, in fairness. It's going to be moving across, and it's just going to get rid of this Overlord here. Second Void Ray is, though, so we are going to be seeing something a little bit funky out of Goblin. He's going to keep us questioning what's going on as we do see Lings moving a little bit forwards there from Elazer. Couple of Lings out into the center as we do see the Void Ray of Goblin going to come all the way across the right hand side. He throws down 2 more Stargates, so we start to see just what his plan is going to be in all of this. Zealot, as part of that wall, Sentry nibbles away at that Zergling right away as well. Queen starting to poke its way through the Void Ray, and that is going to be a dead drone, so drone getting picked off already. Nice little shutdown there, Lair. Coming through, and as we see, actually Phoenix coming up after these Void Rays. So the Void is just applying some pressure, and switching it in towards Mass Phoenix, and I'd imagine a Fleet Beacon, and eventually a switch in towards kind of Fleet Beacon Tier 3 air units would be kind of the overall goal here from Elazer, from Goblin, sorry. So, again, definitely a little bit unique and a little bit different. Now, with the Lair coming up, Elazer will have options and chances to really turn this around and make this go a little bit differently. There's a couple of Queens still just coming through here. A few drones from Elazer going to be finishing up any moment now as well. And again, those Queens going to be able to push those Void Rays away to the left-hand side. And Void's out into the center. Do have the few Phoenix from Goblin just going to be moving out here then. Again, that's going to be keeping on stacking up, but Elazer throws down a Spire. Now, I really dreadfully hope that this is not a Spire that's kind of just going to build Noodlers, because then he's just dead. Then again, he should see the Phoenix before then. This first Queen's very far forwards. He is picking more Queens. He's already on 8, so I actually feel like there's a pretty good read on what Goblin wants to get done in this game. And with these Queens coming up into the main now, I mean, the Phoenix will start lifting. It's a lot of damage output from these Queens, and if Phoenix does go down, as we have those couple of Voids, will continue to escape down at the right-hand side. There's Phoenix still gathering up as well. Extra Phoenix continue to come out here now. A whole bunch of extra gateways. So there is going to be a transition here from Goblin. Because it's not just going to be purely air units like I was suggesting with the Fleet Beacon, etc. Because there's going to be a switch out, but into what exactly? I mean, the Spire has to be for Corruptors at this stage. Maybe that's where the gateways come into play. You get a whole bunch of Stalkers up, you get Blink, and you actually have something of an answer to those Corruptors compared to just losing so much. You're going to see transfusions going to be very important here as the Phoenix again forced to drop down without any actual kills. So these poor Phoenix are continuing to try so hard to get something done, but they're just not finding it. What's up next, Xavier? Thank you so much for the 20 bits in the chat. Appreciate it. 6 Corruptors on the way out. A couple of Queens as well, plus 1 Flyer Carapace coming in on the Spire. A whole bunch of drones are going to get picked off here on that third base. 9-10 workers get taken down, and Overlord 2 is actually very quickly under fire here as well. Multiple Overlords getting picked up as you see Queens continue to push over to the left-hand side, and those Phoenix will have to continue retreating away down the left as well. A couple of Void Rays going to work their way through the spawning pool as we see these Corruptors with the Queens going to be able to also help shut down the Voids here. So that's actually nice. The Corruptors obviously a big part of helping out on this. More and more Phoenix being made though, and I really feel, I mean, Roddy always told me this build, the Mass Phoenix style, was something that was done a lot when we were casting the Clash Invitation. And Roddy told me time and time again, all he wants to see is someone building against Corruptors more and more Phoenix, because eventually the Phoenix will still just win out in that scenario. So I'm very interested, as a third Nexus from Goblin is obviously very late with everything he's been building up instead. So it's still a game that's very interestingly placed at the moment in terms of what the players can do, in terms of what the players can create from here. Still a lot of Corruptors in the production tab from Elazer. 10 of them on the way up as we see that +1 is about to finish on the Spire. Corruptors, again, not going to have the best of trades here right away. Nothing to really support them, and they are pushed back just a little bit. The Queens are going all the way across the map. They are looking to be aggressive. They are looking to take the fight to the Protoss player. And those Queens poking away and doing some damage to those Phoenix. More and more Corruptors on the way out still. I mean, here's my issue, I guess. What is there to actually defend against those Zealots? I don't think Elazer was necessarily expecting Charge to be here. And this Charge rolls definitely change things up. Here come the Corruptors to try and take some of the attention away from the Queens, as the Phoenix are definitely having a pretty good time there. The Zealots, well, taking quite a bit of damage still. The Queens starting to drop down though. Corruptors still chasing. Lings starting to come out now as well will help, but obviously Zealots do pretty good against Lings. Although I guess the Zealots don't have any upgrades. And those Queens with the Carapace are actually surviving such a huge amount of time against these Zealots. I was actually surprised how long they lasted. Elazer might have lost the Queens, but well, now he's got Lings. He's making Banes as well. The Bane and Nest on the way up. He'll know now that because Zealots are a choice, he'll kind of know what the options are. And the Phoenix are in a position to defend this Nexus, so this Nexus will drop down very quickly. And Elazer will kill a natural expansion of his opponent. He does have no caustic spray is actually still available. He'll lose a lot of drones across the map though, because the Phoenix are counter-attacking, so 11 drones drop down pretty much right away. Now the Lings come across to counter in as well. There's one Corruptor which has the caustic spray available right now. As Lings come in for that surround. Again, with no upgrades, the Lings do better than you usually expect. You're just so used to seeing +1 on these Zealots, so while the Zealots will still win this fight, I feel a lot of the time you'd expect the Zealots to have destroyed that fight with basically no losses, but now they're all bruised and battered. 12 drones down, a laser supply blocked here as the Phoenix go off in the main base. They start to get quite a lot done. And dive back in, and an Overlord getting picked off as well. Another couple of Overlords getting taken down. More Overlords being made again, so man, this is the issue. These Corruptors can do a little bit here, and they're starting to kind of pick away at Nexus and so on, but I mean, in the long run, Elazer's running out of drones to kind of build with, and he still can't actually build any other units because of this massive supply block that he finds himself in. I mean, the issue is as well, he can't just go home to try and, you know, deal with these Phoenix either, because if he does, the Phoenix just run away. More Zealots being warped in here as Elazer's down to 33 drones, and Goblin seems to be making game number 2 of this start to go in his favor. Phoenix will recall as well, so now they are back at home. And Elazer will get a chance to actually make some Overlords. He still has money in the bank. Now these Zealots are coming across the map, and he just has absolutely nothing to truly defend against those Zealots. So the Zealots will continue up to the top side as Gonna see Corruptors coming in. A Phoenix gets picked off. A few more Phoenix just heading back into the main base, so they're heading back to the main. Meanwhile, these other Zealots from Goblin starting to head out into the center of the map. Stalker poking away at a couple of the Corruptors. And you see the Corruptors turning back around. They're going to start, of course, spraying down this Nexus very, very quickly. So Nexus goes down. On the top side, some Zealots will be grabbed by Banelings, but, well, the Banes don't really, there's not enough of them. So Lasers really bleeding out here. As we see Zealots just in all of the bases, and, well, again, I mean, the Banes are doing okay, but the Lings will get picked off in these lower numbers. I mean, the Corruptors can come back home to kind of chase the Phoenix down, but that's pretty much all they can do. And there is just not enough on the ground for Elazer to defend. GG. And Goblin takes game number 2 to tie this number 3. Tied up with our red Zerg on the top left-hand side. Elazer up against the blue Protoss from Infinity Gaming on the bottom right-hand side. This is Goblin. Alright, so Game 3, what do we expect to see, guys? A gateway first? Are you kidding me? Didn't invite Goblin to make gateway firsts. Alright, a gateway comes down, and Goblin will go across the map with this probe. This has been a pretty interesting set of matches so far today. This has been a really good group so far, and this is only our 3rd series, guys. Again, we have so much more StarCraft to bring you. We probably want to cast at least 8 or so best of 3s, if not all 10, because I feel like if Goblin puts up a fight here and there, it'll be very fun and very exciting. Probe across into the main, gonna start nibbling away at some of these minerals here. As drones mining away themselves, so it is gate into the forge again. So Goblin with again, this kind of weird setup where he's maybe gonna try and get a cancel. This time the Overlord might stick a little bit closer nearby to just check if a Pyrylon does start to come up, and it looks as though it will. So there it is. I mean, obviously Goblin getting this ready to go, and the Elazer will have to start figuring out what his response is going to be. Tron comes down right away where the other 2 pylons come in. So this is a wall off. And so the cannon can come down very safely. And then another cannon will go down to fully wall that area off as well. Immediately, Elazer going to build spine crawlers on the low ground this time. So, I mean, obviously a bit of a different situation. You can't actually hit these cannons from the high ground. So Elazer going to go from the low ground instead. And he's going to go triple spine crawler once more. So exactly the same as the last game right now. Let's see if he can do enough to maybe save his hatchery this time. 4th spine coming down. A 5th spine coming down. Oh my god. Well, this back cannon isn't in range of the hatchery, so it's only the forward ones that are really going to start applying pressure. Here's the probe. We'll make it out onto the map. Queen is about to finish up. Last time Elazer lost his queen on the low ground very quickly. That's something which he does a little bit better this time around. Immediately drops the creep tumor. I mean, he has to go now. He wants to start cleaning this up as the spines will move forwards. Cancels one of the cannons in the back there. And the spines just aren't going to burrow, so this hatchery's just going to fall. In that case, what's the need for the 5th spine crawler, right? Laser. And across the map, he's got a couple of Lings moving in. So he has 5 spines. I guess because he doesn't have high ground vision, maybe he just needs 5 to really break into this. A lot of Lings coming in as well right now as Elazer is down on drones. Because he had to make more spines, he's in a much worse economic position than he was in the last game. And so this is obviously a very different little setup that he has to deal with, as we'll see. Spines will take their way through all of these pylons and cannons. But again, Elazer already feels like he's maybe in just a little bit of trouble. Man, 5 spines. I mean, okay, now you're very safe and you can just drone, but only on your 2 bases. The 3rd hatchery isn't going to be protected by those spine crawlers, and, well, behind this, Goblin goes into a Twilight Council. It's Twilight Council getting going. Things coming down to the bottom right, and they will start to move forwards here with a Stalker on the way up. We're also going to be seeing this Forge going to start taking a little bit of damage as well. So Forge taking a few hits. Twilight is, again, about halfway done at the moment. resources lost is pretty even, but you gotta remember that Elazer also has 500 minerals and spine crawlers that are not really going to have much benefit anytime soon. Resonating Glaive is the choice from Goblin, so he's going to go into the Adepts as a follow-up this time around. I mean, obviously the Adepts can go past the spine crawlers, so that's a big help. The best thing that the spines could do is go into each different mineral line. A couple spines here, a couple spines there. One of the big things that causes is it kind of forces the Adepts to target fire, because if they are on auto attack, they will attack the spine crawler, and that's actually a lot of wasted damage output time, so it's actually much nicer to not have to deal with spines and mineral lines. It's actually kind of funny. You don't expect like a spine in each mineral line to be that great, but it actually has a huge effect. As you see the Hallucinated Phoenix flying over, and going to come back through the natural expansion as well. And should be all good as those Zerglings gathering down towards the bottom right just to keep control of the map. See what's happening. There's a Elazer definitely playing from behind here. Definitely trying to see what sort of position he can get himself into. What's up, Mr. Compacto, coming in with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciate the support. Give us some love in the chat for Mr. Compacto. Get your decoration on the tree after the game as well. Gates on the way up here from Goblin, as we do see the Resonating Glaives coming up to completion of Robo Facility, getting that Prism out. I mean, Elazer, what do? You're not in a good position. You do not have any potential units you can make that are good against Adepts. I think Elazer might just be dead to this kind of cannon rush based opening. Wow. Well, things will start to come in towards the top left. There's that third hatchery dropping down in position. Well, Prism loads up a few Adepts and we'll start to head out towards the upper left-hand side. Lings adventuring around the top side of this, and we are going to be seeing again even more Zerglings on the way out as well. Third hatchery dropping down. And the Warp Prism starting to unload those Adepts, warping in 5 more. They're going to attack across towards the upper left as Goblin is going to be moving in here. A single Zergling goes all the way down to the bottom left-hand side, and again, all of these Adepts are just going to be poking in. Popping up, and well, this is the moment right where we'll just see the shade past the spine crawler. Surely, I think the spines, maybe 2 of them, or another one needs to go up in towards the main. I don't even know. I mean, he unburrows it now, he brings it up, but Lings and Queens against Adepts with Resonating Glaives is not going to be pretty. The spine tries to like burrow up on the high ground, but I mean, I don't even think these Adepts need to shade anywhere else. I mean, they can just kill everything that's in the main. Warp Prism warps in 8 more Adepts, and Goblin is looking good to take his first series of the day. It's been a long one with a draw in the first game. And he was 1-0 down as well, but he's going to bring it back with 2 in a row because these Adepts currently are unstoppable. Goblin takes it. He goes 2-1 against Elazer, who was already 1-0 in the group, so Goblin